Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
I'm appalled at what you said on that pod thing. It's disgusting.
This is the After the Show podcast. It's where we get honest and real with yo ass. So sit back, relax, have a blast, cause it's time for the After the Show podcast.
Hello, welcome to Tuesday and the KVJ After the Show podcast. What is going on? Hello, everybody.
Yeah, hello, Kevin.
Yes.
Hello, everybody. How long do you think it would take for people to get really annoyed if I talk like this the entire podcast?
Too late.
It's very annoying already.
Well, I got to say what up to our YouTube, Facebook crowds, people checking us out live. You can do that every single day just after 10 o'clock when we get this thing going on. It's right there. You can jump in the chat, say what up, everybody. It's in there. So appreciate y'all checking that out. Got a couple other things to catch you up on here today. I know we'd had this discussion not too long ago. Would you rather jump into the past or the future? They did a survey on this with, I think, 4,000 respondents. 65% of those in this survey said that they would rather travel back in time. 65%. Going back in time.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to go to the future. Who knows what the fuck's going on?
I don't know if I can handle it.
No shit.
But you're so used to everything that's going on right now. Unless it was just going to be a quick glimpse, to be like, yep, it sucks, boom.
It would be nice to be able to give, like you're saying, just a little example of what you got, a quick glimpse of the past, a quick glimpse of the future. Like, I'll take the future.
Yeah, I think the only thing to me would just be a verification. That would be my only reason for going back to the past. I would just want to see because, that's been the one thing that has come up here with the movements that's been happening in America is that we have even seen with American history how much of it has been changed or just ignored or rewritten. And, they've always said that throughout the sands of time is that the victor pretty much writes out the history as to how they saw it, how they want people to remember it.
You don't even think about that kind of stuff as a little kid.
No.
You're just, hearing all this stuff, you're absorbing everything, but you don't realize that you're right. Even history could be biased.
Fake news has always existed. And a lot of it was even more preposterous than today. You look back and so often, they've had a lot of leaders of countries they considered as deities, that they were gods of a certain point. I mean, could you imagine that now today if we did that?
I know.
Oh, my gosh. I mean, anybody who is a detractor and thinks that our president's got an ego right now, can you imagine if he was like, but I'm a god?
But wasn't Kim Jong-un, who's the guy that died before him? Wasn't he the one that he never pooped? He also had 35 hole-in-ones. Didn't he try to carry himself like he was a god?
Yeah, you don't have to go back that far. I mean, Kim Jong-un's, I think it was his dad was it Il? Kim Jong-il
was
was
the
that
kid.
way.
I think Un is the dad.
Wasn't he claiming that he's never pooped before?
He had all these ridiculous things that they would put out for the propaganda.
I mean, what the shit, literally.
If you're over there, you gotta just be like, is he real?
Well, that's my question. If you're in North Korea, quietly, everyone's like, what the fuck is this guy talking about? No one believes this.
We go back to World War II. They believed that the Emperor of Japan was a god.
But they really believed it, or they quietly say, all right, we all know that this is not real.
No, he was treated as a deity. The entire population. That's why, I watched that whole fascinating special on that, and it was a big debate. Do we drop the bombs on Japan? And they were looking at these factors and saying their public believes that they will die for the emperor because he is a god. And that was just it. They said, we're going to have to kill the entire population one by one to end this war because they will not end it. They're like, we're taking our final stand. And when because they asked Japan, they dropped the bomb and they said, all right, you guys ready to quit? And they're like going, no, that's nothing. Bring it.
Dang.
And they're like, you're going to have to kill us all. And they're like, okay. And they went with the second one. And then finally, I think they didn't realize how bad the first one was, and they started to get the reports. And then they're like, I think, because they had a split still on the council. They had 6 people making the decision. 3 of them were like going, F you, we're not quitting.
And they didn't have Twitter in real time telling them how bad it was.
No, they're like, They're like, yeah, what else you got? And they're like, we got another one.
Well, think about it. Imagine if you went back in time with all, historical times and they had Twitter or social media. Jesus.
Oh, yeah.
Going on Facebook.
All that kind of stuff, yeah. That's crazy. And how they really have throughout time. They've rewritten history, and you've had all these kind of things that are just like, that's clearly preposterous. But they did that, and they told the public, and the public believed it, and they would stand by it. And, they would do that for that reason of saying, hey, we want every person in this country willing to die for our God, who is our emperor.
Oh, I just got a notification from President Lincoln. Let's see what he has to say.
Yeah,
imagine that shit.
Be crazy. The wise sayings that we'd have.
Oh my gosh, Lincoln's Twitter would have been popping.
We think that, but what if we gave him a Twitter? We see how he would act, and he fucking just blows it on Twitter. He's great with everything else, but social media, he just can't get it together.
He only post like upskirt videos.
Yeah,
he's
like,
Lincoln.
He's like, Mary Todd, I don't know. I can't get this Instagram.
Could be. Yeah, when they asked, only 35% would rather see what the future holds. And they say that young people are much more likely to say they'd travel to the future. Apparently, old people, they love that nostalgia.
Oh, we're fearful.
Less of a bumpy ride.
We're afraid it's going to change.
It's so loud in the future.
Robots, Kevin.
Yeah, 47% of people under 25 said they check out the future compared to less than a third of people over 50. So that's what they were saying. Mm-hmm.
The only thing cool about the future is checking on your kids.
I would love to be able to do that thing where you could see in the future, just 100 years, how different planet Earth would be. Just society. Think about 100 years ago from now, how different it was. Before now, 100 years from now, it's going to even be that much more different with technology.
You're blowing our minds, Bird.
They're saying, too, we're getting a lot bigger, taller, and our heads are getting wider. They do that little age progression of what humans will look like. And in a few thousand years, if we're around still, we're going to be very tall and kind of look like aliens.
All right. So we're all going to look like Kate Moss.
Foreheads are going to be longer. Eyes are going to be wider.
That's all the reasons why I want to go into the future. That's mine. I want to see what is going on. What's the planet going to look like?
That's what they say. They're predicting that. I don't know if they know for 100%.
Yeah. What is our world going to look like? What's it going to feel like? I was just thinking about that yesterday. As they keep talking about it's getting hotter every single summer, and it's now getting to the point where they say people working outside, really, they might have to start making some adaptations to how they work because people are cooking their organs. And it's getting to the point where with the heat index where we are, it's almost not safe for humans to be working outside. Jeez. I'm like, will we ever get to a point where if in August in South Florida, you would have to sprint like you couldn't have the sun hit you because you would just
blow up?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. It's fucking terrifying.
I mean, is that something that can, I want to see that. That's why I want to go to the future because they're like, well, whatever you do, from June until November, you cannot even walk outside in Florida or you'll die.
The new way of life is you realize from June to September, you cannot go into the ocean because the ocean's going to be boiling.
Yes. It could be. And then, you drop in and there's no Miami. There is nothing off the coast. Like maybe just Florida's just all underwater. You never know. That's the kind of stuff I want to see. Be like, okay, what does the world look like?
I would like to know what it would look like just with technology. Are we flying around in 100 years everywhere? Kind of, they always talk about those hovering, flying cars in the sky.
We always thought, I did, that it was going to be like the Jetsons.
But is it 100 years from now? What's travel going to look like? Would it be much different?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, are you going to be dropping into some crazy whack sci-fi movie that just you can't even comprehend if you went to the future? Be like, oh my gosh, what am I looking at? Because we've seen crazy, horrific sci-fi type movies where you drop in like a Terminator and you're like
Lilu in The Fifth Element.
Yeah, The Matrix. We've scorched planet Earth and now everybody's living in an underground city. Is that what's going on?
Well, there's a lot of shit technology-wise that's going on right now that 40 years ago, if you were growing up and you would have seen to the future now, now, back in the 50s, it'd fucking blow your mind.
Absolutely, yeah.
iPhones and FaceTime and all that shit.
Yeah.
Shit, I grew up with all that, and it's blowing my mind.
Never know. Yeah. That Ancient Aliens show, they believe that there's maybe been cyclical, like people on Earth, where it's like they've reached a certain level of knowledge and then whoosh, and then it's starts all over again.
We've had technology before. We've had a form of the internet before, and things got destroyed, and we're just doing it all over again.
And here we go again, and humanity's reaching that tipping point where it's all of a sudden, boom, we have to reset, and then we go back, oh, we're cavemen. That would be, how crazy would that be? You go to the future, and it looks like you're in the past.
Oh,
whoa, did I just blow your mind there?
I'm liking it. Yeah.
Yeah. All we need is some weed right now.
Come on, join the fucking game, Sinicki.
Yeah.
You guys are too intense.
Yeah.
That's right, bro. We need some intensity.
I think I found what it was. Remember I told you, I'm like, well, I thought I remember hearing, talking about the past, Lincoln's voice on something. And it was on some special that I saw years ago. And I think I kind of found what it was.
I don't think it's really his voice, though.
Yeah, it's what it is that they're saying is that it is... This is what it was. It was Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address recorded on a dictaphone. Now, I don't know if, and I thought the special had tried to say that somebody had it there and it was his, but they're saying that Abraham Lincoln died 12 years before Thomas Edison invented the phonograph, the first device to record and play back sound. And this, I'm trying to figure out exactly if there's any legitimacy to this, of what this is, because they were saying that this is a dictaphone, which was before that, and this is a part of the recording of what Abraham Lincoln would have sounded like.
7 years ago, our fathers brought forth on this continent a new nation, conceived in liberty, and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal.
There's no way. I'd be so disappointed if that's Abraham Lincoln.
That's how he sounded.
That's not the Lincoln, and that's not the Lincoln I hear.
That ain't my Lincoln.
That's not my Lincoln. No siree.
You're right. It kind of sounds like a 1950s actor there a little bit.
Yeah.
Now, we are engaged in a great civil war, testing whether that nation or any nation so conceived and so dedicated can long endure.
Yeah, he sounds kind of like an old like a Mr. Magoo.
He sounds like a cross between That a Boy, Clarence,
Mr. Magoo.
and Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
It just kind of sounds a little bit like this.
Yeah.
We are met on a great battlefield in that war. We have come to dedicate a portion of that field as a final resting place for those who here gave their lives that that nation might live. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this.
Yeah.
Did he have a little bit of this on the back end of all those S's?
I think so.
I think he did, see?
I don't want to lispy Lincoln.
No.
My Lincoln should not lispy.
My Lincoln is crisp, y'all.
Yeah, Chris, just very deliberate. Just, yes, Virginia.
That ain't Lincoln.
That ain't Lincoln.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's got to be somebody who read the Gettysburg Address.
That's stinking Lincoln. We ain't buying it.
Yeah. Nah. So
that is cool, though, to try to hear what he would sound like, though. I see what they were trying to do.
Yeah, some people are saying that, oddly enough, he might have had a higher pitched kind of...
What?
Kind of like this 7 years ago.
Big as he was.
Everybody. 7 years ago.
There's no flipping way. That dude was big.
I know. Well, that's a lot of people think.
He had big balls and he had bass in his voice.
I don't know. Mary Todd.
Oh, look out, everybody. Oh, no, them dirty Rebs.
We're going to win this war.
Oh.
That ain't
Can't
my
be.
Lincoln.
That ain't.
No.
Can't be.
Not today.
Does that take away Lincoln? If Lincoln talk like this, does that take away a little bit for you?
A little bit. The romanticized vision and audio in my head of Lincoln does not sound like he's been castrated.
And Daniel Day-Lewis, he did such a great job as Lincoln. That's how I think Lincoln sounds.
Yeah, I'm not buying into that one. The one that I liked, if you watch the one special that Leo DiCaprio did, he was the producer of it for the History Channel with Ulysses S. Grant. The Lincoln they had in there, I could buy that one.
Okay, he had a good Lincoln voice.
Yeah, there's kind of like a standard, even though we don't know what Abraham Lincoln sounded like. He had kind of like a good standard. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Wait, are you saying Leonardo DiCaprio played Ulysses S. Grant?
No, he was the producer
Oh.
of said special. Yeah, my gosh, no, that'd be absolutely terrible.
That's a stretch.
And now is Abraham Lincoln, Leo DiCaprio. There's no chance on that. So yeah, so it's kind of like it's not a deep. It is, because he's a skinny dude, right?
Yeah, but he's got big dick voice.
He does. He had BDE.
But I also think Lincoln had probably, and I mean no disrespect, obviously. I think he had a thin dick, long but thin. It's still big dick energy.
No, he had a hog.
Like a Lincoln log.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
He had a lanky dick energy.
He did not have a lanky dick. There's no way.
He had a lanky body. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I think he had skinny dick, Virginia. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be a dick here.
Pun intended.
Taft had short and stubby.
I think we can agree on that.
Yeah, I think we all agree on that.
Definitely.
Has anyone ever done a podcast on presidential dicks?
I don't know.
Okay.
Because Johnson is the one we know. Remember, he had a name for his. He called his Jumbo.
Yes. See,
And he used to apparently whip it out on the table in negotiations.
Yeah, we need a big dick president. I'm full in favor of BDE with our leader in chief.
I think Washington. I think he had DD. I think he had dirty dick. I just think
Dirty dick.
Because it was olden times, bathing with, I don't know. I just think he probably had a little DD. Are we gonna get an email, Jay Bird? I can't believe you're being disrespectful to the presidents.
And their dicks.
Is there any place to go for research?
I bet someone has done the research about presidential dong. Yeah, probably.
Do you think Lincoln ever put a top hat on his?
I don't think Lincoln got too kinky, man. As
You
much
don't?
as I would like him to have. Yeah, I don't think he shaved his dick like his beard. Completely, the reverse mohawk.
Okay. It's been a great discussion.
I actually kind of had fun talking about it.
Oh, yes.
This is the politics we need.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
who says we're not smart?
Let me see a couple other things going on here. If you got anything that you want to drop in on us and join in the conversation about presidential dicks, you can jump on to YouTube and Facebook. And you can pop right into the chat room. People are like, yep, Jumbo Johnson. That was the name of it.
Nice.
I don't think any other president has been known for their dong.
Did that thing ever get photographed?
Isn't he the one that was very vocal about his dick? His dick size?
What?
His dick. I was stuck between dong and dick.
He sounded like he just choked on one.
Jock. It did sound like a little dick on the.
Dick in the throat.
Wasn't he the one that always bragged about his dong and his manhood?
Yeah.
And wouldn't he also be the one that would always talk about taking dumps in the White House?
All right, now we don't want to hear about that.
I think he was.
I'm here for your dick talk. I don't want to hear about what kind of shits
Not
you
the
took.
presidential dumps, because
No.
we all know Taft is going to be the worst.
Oh my gosh.
You think Taft's the worst?
He pooped bigger than Oprah.
Yeah, see, I think Lincoln was a rabbit turd kind of a president.
Actually, Hawaii was one of his dumps.
Yes.
He would create new states just by taking a dump. All righty. Let me see. Got some emails, some other comments, some other things we did not get to on the show today. One thing that I thought was interesting that didn't get squeezed into the show is coming out of England, they've identified 6 different types of COVID-19. And this might start to make sense. You know how you're talking about, whoa, why are they all messed up? And they seem like they had one sneeze and they're fine.
My COVID's not your COVID.
Right. This would explain it, that there are maybe 6 different COVIDs going around and they're not all treated alike. And if we're talking about testing to try to tell us what is really going on, that's what testing is all about, then you may have to start saying, well, how many people have the really bad COVID? And that might change the game. That's why imagine if we got testing that would tell you that only a small infantile percentage is getting this kind of COVID and the rest are getting this kind of COVID. So that would really help us dial in on the numbers a little bit more.
I feel like, too, like if you caught it, like say you were a doctor or a nurse and you caught it in the ICU from one of your patients, like you're going to have the really shitty COVID. But, like, there's people that, like, caught it, like, in Publix from somebody who was asymptomatic, and then they got it, and they weren't that bad either. Like, that totally makes sense that there's different COVID.
Yeah. I saw this as like, this does make sense. The six different variations they've identified. Flu-like with no fever. You got a headache, loss of smell, muscle pains, cough, sore throat, chest pain, no fever.
Okay.
That's one type of COVID that they've identified in England.
That's the one I want. That sounds the weakest.
Second, flu-like with fever, headache, loss of smell, cough, sore throat, hoarseness, fever, loss of appetite. The third type of COVID, gastrointestinal, headache, loss of smell, loss of appetite, diarrhea, sore throat, chest pain, no cough. That's why when we first started getting the initial symptoms of what COVID was, I'm like, why is this thing now seem to have, now somebody's got diarrhea. I didn't think that was one of the, so that's what's kind of happening now is we're starting to see all these different kinds, and you can see where the confusion would be with regular flu and colds and which are coronaviruses themselves. I
talked to two different dudes that I know very close to me that both got it and both got the fucked up, messed up corona. One of them was living in his basement for a month, and he was coughing up. He said half a Gatorade bottle a day of phlegm. And my other friend that got it, coughing was, yes, it was there. But for him, it was more about breathing. And he did have the intestinal diarrhea and drama. But he didn't have the half a Gatorade bottle of phlegm like my one friend. They totally could have had two different
kinds
coronas.
Of COVID.
Do you remember when Johnny Wrongboats over here said, "Oh, you can't get sneezing's not a symptom"? Remember that?
Yeah.
Magnolia told me that shit, and I yelled at her.
Good, you needed to, because, man, our credibility was shit after that.
We never recovered.
They have got the severe level 1 of COVID, the fourth kind, fatigue, headache, loss of smell, cough, fever, hoarseness, chest pain, and fatigue. Severe level 2, which is confusion, headache, loss of smell, loss of appetite, cough, fever, hoarseness, sore throat, chest pain, fatigue, confusion, and muscle pain.
Oh, my.
Because, like, why are some people confused and others aren't? And then level 6, severe level 3, abdominal and respiratory, headache, loss of smell, loss of appetite, cough, fever, hoarseness, sore throat, chest pain, fatigue, confusion, muscle pain, shortness of breath, diarrhea, abdominal pain. So that's the one where you get all of them. So that's why you may say, well, why was yours not that bad? You didn't have the same kind of coronavirus. You had two different kinds of COVID-19. One had maybe level 1, which ain't nothing, and somebody else had level 6.
Damn.
Right? Damn. Girl, damn.
Which makes the work that the doctors and nurses are doing even more admirable because they're exposing themselves to the worst that COVID had with level 6 bitches all up and down the hallway. And a lot of them that caught it, I heard a lot of stories of doctors and nurses that were real sick and some of them died.
Yeah.
That's why then, because they had a different version.
That it does start to make some sense. You're like going, okay. So, but with our testing then, you would want to be like, which one do I have? And that'd be able to help. And then we can maybe start to narrow down and say, okay, the hospitals are filled with this and people are dying of this. And this is really the number to look at. Because if you got 1, 2, 3, 4, it seemed like even maybe 5, you're like, okay. You know, we're not so worried about that. Go live your life. None of this, you don't have to worry about this. You know, if you had the flu, you would stay home for however long you stay home. We're not worried about that going around. We're worried about 5 and 6. So now we can really start focusing on 5 and 6 and tackling that one. So I was like, yeah, that might be interesting if that opens up a little bit more. And the good news, too, they found out from Kansas State University mosquitoes aren't capable of spreading coronavirus.
Nice. Just dengue fever.
Dengue.
Dengue. Depends on where you're from.
Yes.
If you're up in Boston, you get dengue.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, up in Boston.
Boston.
I'm working on my Boston. I'm going to continue to work on it.
That's probably a good idea.
It's not very good. Did you have a good Boston? There's a difference between
terrible.
ka. My mom would say ka, Ann would say ka, but so do Boston people. But it's a different kind of ka. And it's tough. The dialect's tough, Virginia. Yeah. All right, well, fuck. I'll shut the fuck up.
I don't know. You just kept going.
That's what I thought.
Maybe you should have shut the fuck up.
That's what
You went too long.
That's what this podcast was for. Try some things out. A lot of it doesn't work.
Just keep talking. Doesn't matter. It's all good. We're not rated.
Yeah, we don't paid for this shit.
Yeah. You're what you paid for.
Exactly.
Yeah. Take that.
Uh-huh. Well, apparently Shira's saying that my kid needs to worry about something more than just coronavirus. She said, I hope you encourage your son Colin to go get tested for bloodborne disease. If I understood correctly, he got a tattoo at a party. I personally know somebody that got the HIV from a home tattoo. I'm really worried about him.
Oh, boy. Yeah, we got to talk about these kids getting these home tats.
Yeah, I'm not signing off on it, Virginia.
HIV?
Yeah, well, yeah, you don't want to mess around with anything blood and pricking skin and all that kind of good stuff.
I get it, but that's what a fucking horror story.
Horror story.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it has some stuff
You
can
need
happen.
to go home and go scare the crap out of your kids.
I also didn't like that tat girl talking shit about Caitlyn on her social media. I didn't like it.
What about?
She had kind of like a little zing towards Caitlyn on the social.
She did, about not finishing college.
Like a college dropout. That's what you get. I didn't like it.
Well, that was.
I don't give a shit.
That was her friend with the little tattoo gun, and so she was,
I got a little Kate Pennington in me. I don't like it.
They all rib on each other. Yeah. And I guess Caitlyn ultimately got her back with that
yeah. Finishing move.
Yeah, Kanye
A
2020.
misspelled tattoo.
Well,
Shut you up.
First of all, it's a terrible idea to get a Kanye 2020 tattoo in the first place, but now that it's misspelled, I mean, it's even worse. That has to go on one of the. If you had a tattoo fail page, that has to go on there.
It has to.
I mean, it's just terrible.
And there's just 18 different things wrong with that picture.
Well, I thought it was a joke. I thought she did it in red pen, and I didn't even know Caitlyn did it. She's like, yeah, she was laughing because I spelled it wrong. It's like, you did that? She's like, yeah. She's like, I was really drunk, though. I'm like, well, okay, I don't know if that's an excuse.
I don't think it is.
Caitlyn was really drunk, she said?
Yeah.
Jeez.
Oh, boy. You got what we like to call a handful over there.
Yo, just wait till they turn 22, Virginia. It's a different game.
I was gonna say 22. I mean, you got so much fucking just zest for life at 22.
Oh yeah, they're living. They're like, I'm taking advantage of it. So there you go. So yeah, kids are different at different ages. Amanda said, if you do have the younger kids, you guys were talking about shows good for kids and adults. I want to recommend the Netflix series Lemony Snicket's, a series of unfortunate events. My kids, husband, and I watched the movie. Then we had to watch the show. And I must say, in my opinion, this is one of Neil Patrick Harris's best performances.
Oh.
Where he plays the character Count Olaf. My family and I enjoy the show so much, I highly recommend it.
Is that Jim Carrey movie?
Yes.
The movie, yes.
Was it good?
I don't even remember if I saw it. I know I have it on the DVD, but I can't remember if it was good.
I just jumped into Lord of the Rings for the first time. I'm on the first episode, Lord of the Rings. I got through the first hour of it.
Okay.
Fell asleep. It's long, like 3 hours.
You fell asleep.
Yeah.
An hour into it, I went to bed to it. I thought I had enough stamina. I don't know, the ring couldn't keep me up.
That's the one thing I wonder about that movie. I like the Lord of the Rings. I think was probably like mid-2000s when they were cranking those out. So they're almost, probably coming up on 15 years now.
So the first hour, they're definitely setting a lot of shit up. I'm waiting for it. I think it's just about to start kicking in a little bit. Gandalf's doing some magic shit. Doing some spells. Virginia would hate it. You would absolutely hate this movie. It's got hobbits and magic and creatures, all the things you hate.
Yeah, that's not my cut.
That is so not your game.
Yeah, in fact, I think it was the early 2000s. I think the second one came out in 2002, I think is when they started. So,
Yeah.
But it's like that
about 20
fantasy
years old.
stuff.
It's fantasy,
and,
Middle Earth kind of shit.
It is, but I'm just wondering because it's long. I wonder if it's going to move too slow for future generations, where it's almost like, hey, can we go in there and get a modern edit on this?
My only
Speed it up a bit.
My only knock was I think you could have got to some of the action a little bit quicker, but I don't know.
There is some dialogue and whatnot that it's like, okay, do we need this?
I'm still going. It's my first journey with it, really. So I don't want to speak too soon, but I will. I think it's about to pick up.
Okay.
I'll let you guys know tomorrow about part 2 of part 1.
We can't wait.
Yeah, I know. I'm never bringing it up again. No, it's not been a great day for me.
A lot of stuff not connected, huh?
Corona, bruh.
I'm fucking off, I guess.
Yeah, you know. Did you hear about this? Boy, they're really stepping it up. With no fans, WWE's got to make it entertaining. So now one of these storylines is having a guy lose an eyeball.
What?
See, I was wondering when they're going to start doing some fucked up storylines, because back in the day they had screwed up storylines. That's why you tuned in, and they kind of got a little kiddish again. That's been the knock. Let's fuck up some eyeballs.
Does he really lose an eyeball?
Well, the storyline is that Rey Mysterio loses an eyeball in a live match against Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins sees it and then pukes all over the place.
Vince McMahon loves puking gags. Loves them. Big into smells and gags and all that shit. There was a wrestler, I forget his name. He could throw up on command, and Vince McMahon loved it.
Rey Mysterio was taking on Seth Rollins on Sunday in a match dubbed the Eye for an Eye in an event called the Horror Show. Rollins took control and shoved Rey's eye into the corner of the steel steps, and then pop goes the eyeball. It wasn't actually as violent and gory as Kill Bill, where it happened there, but apparently Rollins played up the moment, was so grossed out by the bloody eyeball that he forced himself to barf. Don't worry, Mysterio was tended to by paramedics at ringside. And if we were to guess, his eyeball's probably going to be okay.
I love me some Rey Mysterio Jr. That's the giant killer right there.
Yeah.
Real small luchador, and he had you guys, never mind.
You're on a roll today.
You guys don't want to hear.
Take it, run with it.
You guys don't want to hear about how Big Sexy took off Rey Mysterio's mask.
No, continue.
I don't know. I mean, actually, I kind of do.
You know, I'll send you a link. I'll send you a link of the match.
Yeah, so that could be interesting. Does the guy have to wear like an eye patch now for the rest of his career?
No,
Or are they going
man.
to say he gets a fake eyeball?
I mean, there's so many ways you could probably rewrite that again to where he doesn't have to have an eye patch.
Okay.
You could get a glass eye.
There's so many things that can happen. It's all what the writers want to do.
Okay. Earlier on the show, we were talking about what is the best/worst advice you've ever received from the KVJ show. And Ilya and Josie said, hey, KVJ family, we are moving even closer to the show, and thank you so much for all your great advice, entertainment, laughs over the years. We flipped the coin and now have a house to call our own. Super excited and a bit scared. Jaber, when we are all settled in the world, we'd also like to have the honor of you marrying us. Happy house hunting, Bird, but apparently they did what we did, flipped a coin, heads or tails, and decided to get a house because of it.
Wow.
That is good.
Good for you.
I do love that bit, the flip a coin. I felt bad that I did the flip a coin about me. You remember I flipped the coin. I had to go on a date, but that's when COVID really came back. I couldn't go on no date with you here.
Yeah.
There's no way. But I do love that bit, but I think I did a Virginia. I think I killed it.
No, I've still got the quarter. And if anybody ever needs us to flip it to help them make a life decision, we can do it. The lucky quarter is safe. I put it in a special spot.
I love it. We should bring that back, Kev.
Yeah, if anybody ever wants any kind of advice, you let me know. Call up and we'll flip it for you.
It's got a great track record. This lucky quarter is very solid.
You know what game I was going to see? I was going to ask if we could bring back. I love this game, but can we play it? Can we play it in studio? I love when we play in studio. Am I close? I love that game.
Am I close? Yeah.
You give us these hard definitions. We have to figure out, we can bullshit our way through it. Am I close? I love that bit. It's so fun. Reminds me of me being in school.
Yeah. Just basically guessing at all the questions you don't know the answers to.
Totally.
Yeah. Okay. Well, just some thoughts. Anybody got anything for us? Or if you're one of those people we flipped a coin for, let us know what the progress is.
Yeah. How did it go?
Yeah.
You're right. We did do a few, didn't we?
Yes.
Yeah. I would like to know. Send us an email, mail@kvjshow.com. mail@kvjshow.com. All right, thanks for locking in today. Y'all have a good one. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.